We open in sickbay to find Ensign Pregnant is still busy being pregnant, and we discuss the topic of names for the baby. The doctor, who has some experience in this matter, shoots down every one she suggests by explaining that each name is somehow related to either an insult or a psychopath. All, that is, except for Kez's suggestion of Benaran, as he's never heard it before. We learn that Benaran was Kez's father, and the doc is a little upset that she never suggested it for him. Whilst a throwaway scene, this serves as a nice reminder of both the bond between Kez and the doc, and a nod to the doc's growing personality. Enough of that filthy character development shit though, as something's happening on the bridge. We've stumbled across a debris field caused by weapons fire. Scans show it was made of unobtainium or some bollocks, and they're surprised by this as it means the pooping involved must have been more powerful than average. We teleport some aboard for a closer look, and discover the weapons fire has a cardigan signature. Janeway asks if it might be our old friend Seska, but B'Elanna shoots this down. Seska can't be responsible, because B'Elanna is. She explains that back when they were Maquis, the Cardigans sent an automated weapon, one designed to explode at the target, to destroy their base. They managed to disable it largely through luck, and B'Elanna reprogrammed it to instead target a Cardigan fuel dump. It never got there and was presumed lost in the Badlands, but must have been kidnapped by the caretaker just like they were. As it's their fault, they need to stop it from destroying any more ships. As an aside, we aren't told why an automated bomb has additional, very high-grade weapons, given that success would mean its destruction, but let's ignore that for now. Before we leave to track it down, Chakotay has a pop at Paris for turning up to the meeting late and dishevelled. Again, I'd normally say this is because Tom Paris is a dick, but he was abnormally dickish in the last episode too, and that makes me wonder what we're setting him up for. I'd love it to be a continuation of his character development from Threshold, that him achieving something spectacular didn't bring the closure he expected, and now he's struggling to deal with that, but given how regularly we seem to swerve away from growth when the chance arises, I'm not going to get my hopes up. But, again, I digress. In engineering, B'Elanna and Paris are trying to track Dreadnought. While doing so, she gives us a little more detail. Turns out releasing the reprogrammed Dreadnought on the Cardigans was entirely her idea, and she didn't run it by Chakotay before doing it. We're also told she gave Dreadnought her own voice, possibly setting us up for some deception fuckery later. Anyway, because she took the decision upon herself, she now feels personally responsible for its actions. Paris tells her that the events of her past don't reflect who she is now, and that she's integrated with Starfleet better than he'd imagined. In fact, she's doing better at integrating than he is, and they have a brief discussion about what's going on with him before, again, swerving as we approach the meat of the matter. Later, on the bridge, we're tracking Dreadnought's trail, or trying to anyway, as it's a tricksy little hobbit is. The good news is B'Elanna knows how to counteract all its bullshit, and we're able to catch up. The bad news is that it's just gone live and is targeting an inhabited planet about a week away. As if that wasn't enough, the guy who sold us out to the Kazon in the last 2 episodes is up to his shit again. He thinks Seska would be very interested in a Cardigan super missile, but seems to be bouncing off Kazon bureaucrats in his attempts to inform her. Are we hinting at Seska having some problems in the Kazon ranks? Janeway decides we should probably warn the planet that's going to get kaboomed, and we give them a call. Being told that they have an incoming meganuke doesn't exactly please them. Indeed, they see it as a possible threat by Janeway, given the terrible reputation that Voyager has in the Delta Quadrant, a recurring plot element that I continue to find absolutely delicious. 1,000,000 gold stars to whichever writer thought of making Voyager infamous. Regardless, Janeway says she's trying to stop it before it reaches them. To that end, B'Elanna teleports over to Dreadnought. After an initial scan to determine who she is, B'Elanna has a friendly chat with the weapon of mass destruction. We learn the planet it's targeting was chosen because it matches the parameters of the original target, rather than based on navigational data, as this was damaged when it was snagged by the caretaker. B'Elanna repairs this system and walks the computer core through the logic of where it is, and that, based on its location, the current target cannot possibly be the one it was originally assigned. Convinced, Dreadnought shuts down into power-saving mode, and B'Elanna teleports back to Voyager. We're in the captain's ready room reporting on our success. Doubly so, it seems, as Dreadnought's systems can be modified for use on Voyager, so now they have some extra spare parts. Dreadnought seems to have other ideas, though, and powers back up again, before scarpering towards the planet we thought we'd saved. Voyager gives chase, but B'Elanna can't teleport over anymore. Her codes aren't working, and Dreadnought won't let her through its shields. Janeway's bored of this science shit now though and just tries farting a couple of fireworks at the thing. Dreadnought gives zero shits however, as its shields just absorb the kabooms, and I'm again left wondering why the most advanced tech available has been installed on something that's designed to self-destruct. No time to worry about that though, as Dreadnought hails us. It apologises for lying about shutting down, says they're probably being coerced by Cardigans into making up the Delta Quadrant thing, and to kindly fuck off so it can go do some exploding. We can't do that though, so B'Elanna comes up with another idea. Firing its weapons causes a weakness that they may be able to exploit with a magic science laser, so they provoke it by farting some more fireworks, which is a curious choice given that we have a limited supply of them, but let's ignore that. Dreadnought fires back with a green ball of its own, and Voyager uses the magic science laser to knock out Dreadnought's shields. No time for celebrations though, as Dreadnought pulls out an Uno reverse card and sends the magic science laser back to Voyager, causing some ship-wide kabooms. Proper fucked up, Voyager is left adrift and Dreadnought continues on towards the target. While we repair the ship, Janeway gives the planet another call to let them know we've fucked it. All's not lost, however, as we'll give it another go when the engines are back online in about an hour, so, maybe you won't all die because of us. Positive mental attitude and all that. The planet doesn't seem reassured by this, and sends the few ships it has to try and stop Dreadnought. They're no match, but maybe they can slow it down. Voyager's all better, and we catch up with Dreadnought. After some fiddling, we manage to teleport through the shields, because reasons. B'Elanna sets herself to stopping Dreadnought, but Dreadnought has other ideas. It shuts off the terminal she tries to use, and gives her a tiny Emperor Palpatine when she pokes at its innards. Undeterred, she pulls out a sheet of orange acrylic that disables the Palpatine response, and has another go. After yanking out another bit of plastic, Dreadnought slows down. Success? Not quite. Those ships have turned up, and Dreadnought needs to slow down if it's going to kaboom the shit out of them. Janeway gives the ships a call and asks if they wouldn't mind postponing the attack on account of the fact it would kill B'Elanna, but they decline. B'Elanna's able to use the diversion to rip out more of Dreadnought's innards though, so it's not all bad news. Except it is, because Dreadnought just reroutes through other systems and she's gained nothing. The ships begin their attack and Dreadnought just shrugs them out of existence. Voyager tries to draw some of the fire by making itself a threat and gets slapped in response, but it does give the other ships a chance to leg it. Janeway gives B'Elanna a call and asks about progress. None, reports B'Elanna, as Dreadnought has bypassed all her work. She has other ideas, but says she doesn't want to discuss them, just as Dreadnought cuts her off. When asked why it didn't do that earlier, Dreadnought responds that monitoring their communications was a tactical advantage, and we give points to the writers here for turning a potential plot hole into a feature. B'Elanna starts poking again, and Dreadnought discovers she's trying to prematurely detonate the meganuke. This doesn't make sense to Dreadnought, as, if she was being coerced, she wouldn't kill herself to save her enemy. Seizing on the opportunity, B'Elanna runs through a hypothetical scenario with Dreadnought, where she asks it to assume she's telling the truth and, in the process, discovers a hidden Cardigan file. While trying to find out what it is, Dreadnought reaches a conclusion. As the chance of it being in the Delta Quadrant is so remote, Dreadnought explains the only other logical conclusion is that B'Elanna has switched sides and is now voluntarily working for the Cardigans. Then it shuts off life support, which won't matter much either way as we're now approaching the planet. Back on Voyager, Janeway's calling the planet again. We're pretty much out of ideas, but there is one last option. Voyager itself. 3 million lives versus 100 or so isn't a difficult choice, and that's even before you consider one of those 100 is Tom Paris. Maybe a warp core breach will have enough power to take Dreadnought out. B'Elanna's not quite ready to give up yet though, and is still poking around. She thinks the answer might lie in that hidden Cardigan file, maybe some sort of backdoor or override. Neither, it seems. The file is actually the original AI, the one she overwrote with her own voice. Restarting that causes the computer to execute conflicting commands, essentially making it argue with itself. During the confusion, B'Elanna is able to open the core section of Dreadnought where all the tasty kaboom juice is stored. Dreadnought must be very busy as it stops blocking Voyager too, and they re-establish communications and a teleport log. B'Elanna says she's trying to poop yellow at the kaboom juice, but just in case that doesn't work, Janeway's still going through with the self-destruct business. She orders everybody else into escape pods, but Tuvok's not having that shit. It's a gesture that makes me wish we'd seen more examples of the relationship between the two in previous episodes, something that would have made this moment significantly more poignant. Anyway, B'Elanna's still hoping the self-destruct business won't be necessary, as she's nearly pooped through to the kaboom juice. Dreadnought tries to distract her by saying it's reconsidering the whole Delta Quadrant thing, but she's not buying it. She manages to breach the kaboom juice and starts a reaction that's picked up by Voyager's scans, who promptly teleport her out. We dodge the exploding Dreadnought and cancel the self-destruct sequence, while the Doc calls to say he has B'Elanna in sickbay for treatment. We grab all the escape pods back again and fly away, all while trying not to consider that this is now the second time B'Elanna has killed one of her own creations. End of episode.